I was just walking past Lottie, and it looks like she's bagging up. And she may be due in about 8 days, 8 to 10 days, or she could be due around the first week of March. As you'll see from the video I just released, that we missed her birth date last year by 20 days or thereabouts. She's hard to tell. We've never calved in the winter. Last year, the 23-24 season was the first year that we calved in the winter, and it worked well. This year we didn't want to calve in the winter because it is hard, and so we delayed Lottie's date so that she would calve in the springtime when it might be a little warmer. Not that February or March around here is predictable to be warm by any measure. The previous breeding season, everybody was artificially inseminated, but then we followed up with a bull that we had just in case AI missed. This year we have no bull, so we're pretty sure of the date, except Allison has the February 8th date, I think. I think it was closer to Valentine's Day. My data says we bred her again to breed 21 days later, basically in March. So we're not sure which date took. We've had a little bit of an issue with breeding cows that way and not exactly sure. So we're gonna keep an eye on her. I take photos of her bagging up and watch this area as her pin bones spread and her pelvis. It forms a dent right there. Hi, Lottie, sweetheart. I know I'm just poking you. Hollows form just in front of the bone that indicate she's opening her birth canal, as it were. And then we'll also notice her belly. When the calf drops, her belly will hang lower. There are those physical signs. I'm also going to use the moo call. I'm not going to put it on her till the last minute, but this is definitely the time to be making sure that we have everything assembled. Buckets, towels, coats, feeders, and stuff like that, just in case. And I'll I'll get set and make sure her pen's ready should it happen. We woke up late this morning. I don't know what made us go to bed after midnight last night. Didn't sleep well. It's still snowing. This is unpredicted snow from yesterday. It looks like we got about 4 or 5 inches. I just gotta put the dog back in the house and go check the boiler. Looking on the cows. First I thought it was a mistake and laziness that I didn't fill in the last few boards on that wall, but man, it's handy to poke your head in there and check on everybody from back here. It'll get filled in eventually. All cows are good. Everybody's in the barn. All the cows are good. Everybody's in the barn because of the snow. I'm gonna have to get them a new bale, which means getting the tractor down there, moving bales around. All right, it is Saturday, I think. Don't know what day it is really. I am getting some bales for the cows. I'm gonna bring them up to the dooryard and then feed out one down here. It just makes it easier. That way I don't have to lock the cows in the barn unless absolutely necessary. We've had back-to-back snowstorms. We've got another 4 inches overnight. I'm not happy about this. About 7 inches in the last day or so. And I think this is more snow now than we've had in the past few years. Feels like it, whether it is or isn't. I gotta focus on what I'm doing. This bale is heavy. I'm in 4-wheel drive. I do not want to tip the tractor down the hill. It's very slippy. Feeding out here in this location on the hill sucks. This was never designed for this space, and here I am doing it because of kind of necessity and just the way our year's gone. If I'd had the feed rail done, we would have saved a lot of money and a lot of hassle. But anyway, so I gotta bring these up because it's just easier to feed them out. bagging up, so we gotta watch her, I think. I mean, after the debacle of last year's calving season where we overestimated the birth date of almost every cow, I'm a little hesitant to start deciding, but that's when you get caught out. We have 2 possible birth dates for Lottie for some reason. That is both the blessing and curse of having a small herd. You don't always have the tools that a large herd would mandate. You know, tag radio collars that monitor rumination and estration and heat cycles and stuff. And so we don't have that. And so we use the low-tech patches that rub off that indicate that the cow's been ridden because she was in heat. That works pretty good. But you also sometimes, when there's hormones in the air, cows don't always, the cow that's in heat is not always the one that's tagged. You know, she'll tag the other cows, and then you've got a situation where you've bred a cow that wasn't in heat, or you think a cow that has been bred and has accepted the breeding, and you breed her again by mistake, and the AI tech, especially in a 21-day cycle, can't always tell immediately whether the cow's pregnant or not. It takes a month or 2. It takes more than a month. And none of our vets do ultrasound or anything like that, so that's where we're at there. So we're kind of nervously watching and waiting Lottie. Second bale, getting the second bale here. It's the 1st of February. Damn, I don't know what I'm doing. I really did. Hard to see. 1st of February 2025. We always seem to get snow on the 1st of February, and also in the middle of February we have like a weird storm, and it's quite often in March. My camera's not behaving. My hands are frozen. Yeah, so the bitter cold weather and all the wind we've had this winter just made it miserable to work outside. And I've taken the easy way out. I've been reading and doing planning for the year and things like that, which I typically do in January. It just feels like this year I've been doing more of it, and it's been colder. I'm behind in firewood, and I haven't done some of the other bigger projects or tackled any part of them that I need to. And that's not a good place to be. Doesn't feel great. I don't know why I'm whining about it. All right, we got second bale. I'm gonna grab a bale for the heifers next. Get it up here. It's just easier to work on it up here, and I don't have to disturb the cows or move the ring or anything. And then I'll get one more bale and move it for the cows. I am grateful that we have the tractor, this tractor. Because I would not be able to do this in this weather with the skid steer. That's the other thing. I did use the skid steer to plow the driveway this morning, but going back and forth up the hill with bales would not have been fun. Got a busy week ahead of us with a really sloppy mix of weather coming at us, and having 6 bales out will help us get to hopefully Saturday. Well, yeah, 6 or 7 days from now, so Saturday next week maybe. With Lottie looking like she could possibly be going to calve in the next week, and on her earlier date, which is whatever, a week away. We have to I had to pull a bale out. These bales are slippery because we had an icy rain. You can see from the back window there. Oh, come on. The windows are covered with ice, and the snow has a crust on it. So yeah, I've got to clean out the birthing pen that we've been allowing the cows in, just so they have more room in the barn, and we're gonna clean that out and get it. I am very grateful, well, not only for the tractor and the ability to be able to do this with the tractor, but I am so grateful that we got that baler, and that I have all this feed still. I still have 20 bales over at the other hay field, which we haven't gotten, and it's not this quality feed, but it is feed of an okay quality. And I'm going through second cut like crazy here. Back up the hill at this point, and I don't know if I can do that. It starts to get pretty steep when it's like this and snowing and stuff. And with that, I don't have tire weights on the tractor. The tires aren't filled because I don't believe filling the tires on this tractor would make it too heavy. So I want to get wheel weights, but I don't have them, and I don't have a block on the back because that sticks out too far for the tight area I have to manipulate the tractor and everything. So I'm just having to take it super careful. All right. Yeah, grateful that we have as much feed as we do. I still have some first cut bales here. I've still got about 20 second cut bales to work my way through. That gets us firmly into March. And so then it's just hauling over those other 20 bales in April, and then getting the cows out on grass as soon as possible. But I can tell you what, after this winter, spring can't come soon enough. The bale I pulled and unwrapped and put in the ring for the cows, which came from the Farnsworth Marsh, second cut, is one of those bales that had a lot of the Duff first cut in it that I didn't quite get pulled up, and it is musty. So now I need to get it out of my way and go grab another bale, and I guess I'm gonna put this in the barn for the cows to spread out as bedding. It'd be fine for that. They can eat what they want out of it. They can pick through it. And but it is in my way. I was worried about the second cut marsh bales because so much I had to stop baling. I gotta take this fence down again. I put this up, I was too efficient. Yeah, I had to stop baling first cut of the marsh because it was just miserable and it was binding up and it was wet. By the time I came back to bale second cut, some of that duff first cut was there, and this is mostly duff crap. It's not really, they'd eat it. It's not toxic or bad or anything. It's just so low in nutrition. It's full of dead matter that's not nutritious, so I gotta get them a better bale. All right, we'll give them a bale from the field next door, if I can get it. Definitely gotta improve how I stack bales next year and how I access them, because this is not ideal. Start all over again. Really don't like crabbing backwards up the hill sideways. All right, we'll try that again. Just looking at Lottie, checking on her burgeoning udder. She gets we start taking daily photos. We compare her day to day, her udder growth, and we're looking for hollows right here forming deeper than that, and these pin bones spreading as she opens up to give birth. That udder is bigger than yesterday, that's for sure. The story so far. Allison went to get another pork box for a customer. Got out to the barn where the freezers are kept. Said, hey, there's no light on in the freezer. So that set me into a panic because that's almost the exact circumstances that led to the boiler blowing the other day. Power outage, was there power out here? Oh, and great. I now have power to the freezer. I don't know what I've done to get power to this freezer. So I have spent, all right, there's power to that freezer. I reset the breaker because I couldn't determine power anywhere out here. We have the place where I plug in the temporary, and this is all temporary in here. I have the place where I plug in the temporary power to the boiler. And all that is run off of this panel, which controls the freezers, the medicine fridge for the barn, and some lights upstairs and things. It's on a sub panel from our main house panel. The only circuit out here that's that way, I should have fixed that. When I built the creamery and put separate power to the creamery, this should have just been fed off of the main panel, but I needed this power to build the creamery because there was no power out there. It all came through this sub panel here. So it was expedient, but it was foolish to not have a secondary source on a separate panel out here. But the main panel for the creamery is already overloaded. So anyway, that outlet, I've investigated. It seems fine. And now it's working. So I've just reset the panel. So one leg of the 220 feed that comes over here wasn't hot. And my good continuity tester or power identifier thing is missing. And plus, it is howling a gale out here again. So I've been racing back and forth, making sure the boiler isn't about to blow, and I'm gonna check right now again. Now I'm happy to see that working, because my fear was that one leg of the 220 feed not having power meant that potentially at a couple of points that I know that line crosses. Now, it's a direct burial cable that's the previous electric owners had somebody use. We're still boiler power, good. They had run, and let me just show you this, because this is absurd, but it wouldn't fly now, and I don't know what we're going to do if we ever have to remodel a house. But they ran a 220 feed along the back side of the house. Look at those icicles. We're getting a new roof soon. That'd be nice. Anyway, this line right here runs all the way along the back side of the house and into the main panel. Comes along here, past the sunroom, and goes down to this junction box, and then junctions to another piece that goes under the ground here, into that box, up the wall, across the top of the ceiling of the creamery, and down into that panel to feed it. Now, what did I do with that tester? I guess I put it in this pocket. Yeah, there it is. All right, so testing this, I wasn't getting any power. See, there's power here on both sides. And here, there's power on both sides. But over here and here, power on both sides. But here, no power on both sides. So I was fearing, I don't know what that's about. Before I found that the freezer light was working. Is it not working again? Allison's gone. She's taken the dog to the vet because the dog seems really sick. All right, good. The light's on still here. So I was fearful that at some point underground or along the backside of the house, this 220 line was broken, but now it's hot on both legs, so that's good. So I flipping the breaker must have reset that, but I got to worrying. I started taking open this junction box to make sure that the wire nuts are tight. Now, of course, I got to turn off the power once I get it open and before I mess with it, but I am going to turn off the power and check this, because I actually don't like the looks of what's in there. So I'm gonna go turn off that breaker, check that this is powered out, tighten up those wire nuts, go back, turn the power back on, and see what we got. I'm doing this instead of doing any of the other things I should be doing, or even enjoying this amazingly beautiful day now that the snow's stopped. It took me a while to find this. I knew where it was, but I couldn't find the toolbox. And actually, I have a better one that, all right, we still got power there. We got power on both legs. Okay. All right, good. Well, the tricky part of finding what was wrong was the red leg wasn't working. So that meant every other outlet, every other breaker wasn't hot. And it was not immediately obvious. I knew that there was power to a couple of the freezers in here. And this is all massively under remodel over time, but it takes, you know, a farm remodel takes years as opposed to a year. I was worried that the outlet that the two freezers was plugged into, that wire had somehow been cut by a rat or something somewhere where I couldn't get to. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, this is not the case. All right, good. We got power at the junction box. I double checked to make sure that there was both wires that were wire nutted together were touching, and then wire nutted and tighten the wire nut back down. And I'm just going to obsessively check the boiler. Well, yesterday panned out. Everything was fine in the end. Got everything fixed, everything working. We had a lot of customers also interrupting what I was doing. So, and my phone died because of the cold. I went to use it to operate Square, and it had shut down because it's just that cold. Today, I think we've climbed above negative numbers right now for the actual temperature. There's no wind. It's beautiful. It's probably only 5 or 6 degrees out. And as much as I complain about the temperature and mention the digits a lot, I just can't get over what a beautiful place this is. When the sun is shining and it's this cold, it doesn't really matter. And I'm just down here in the pig yard finishing up chores with them. Allison's finishing up milking. She's got to go to a class with the Cheese Guild today. And let's see, what's that son? I'm going to be here on the farm looking after stuff. I really do need to work on firewood today. I've got a lot of wood there that's ready to split. I just got to be able to get to it. And with the cows in the middle of the road, unless I drive them into the barn, that isn't too practical. I don't want to leave them in the barn much because I'd rather they be eating the bale. So I may just come down here with a chainsaw and saw up a bunch of wood rounds and then just shuttle them back and forth all in one go. Tractor would be the ideal for that, given how snowy it is down here. So we'll see about that. Maybe for today's Sunday, so maybe for Tuesday, the bale will be gone and I can come back and forth then. But I do have some firewood I can split today.